last we have Near. You have a certain series from a certain studio that you like to
Oh,
tell us
hell
about.
yes.
Sure
Kino. Now,
do.
hey,
Sure do.
man, when I was talking about tens, like, speak of the devil.
Yeah. Yeah.
A completely
Um,
original series that you like to tell us
for
about.
sure. For sure. So I watched Momentary Lily.
Yes.
Um, I unironically like every time I'm about to say this
Not
title, I
not to
I
be
have to
confused
I
with.
have to stop myself from saying Assault Lily every
Yes.
time.
And this has zero
Um,
relation to Assault Lily.
Yeah.
yeah, it's completely
Wait,
unrelated.
let you get to the story, and then we'll continue
So
to assert that it has no relation.
yeah, so again, keep in mind this has no relation. Like, I I can't explain this story because it's generally schizophrenic. So robotic invaders wiped out all life, but Renge fights to survive using her powers. With no memories, she roams the city until she meets five other young women, each with unique abilities. Together, they make the most of their lives, cooking delicious meals between battles with mechanical monstrosities. As they uncover the secrets of their powers and paths, they find strength in their friendship.
I like how like they make the most
It's
of their lives
so
cooking
it's
delicious meals
so
now. Like,
it's so
Yeah,
indescript.
like
Like,
like
it's very
they're trying to
original.
make it sound like some like weird Soranoto shit. You know what I mean? Here, like
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah,
oh, we have the girls, but they're also battle guys. It's like, come on, man.
yeah.
Uh,
So this series, by the way, is a GoHands original. Um,
yes.
so we're
Now,
already in
can
for a good
you
time.
can we pull up the this story description for Salt Lily, please? Can we can
Fuck
we do
me.
that real quick? All right, I have it.
Salt
Blah,
Lily.
blah. A mysterious creature. 50 years ago, a mysterious creature suddenly appeared all over the world, posing an existential threat to humanity. Defend against these menaces. Soldiers in the form of teenage girls, known as Lily, use the energy within their bodies to power weapons. And then blah blah. She gets into like the main character gets into an academy. Blah blah.
Yeah,
Meets other girls. Uh, even so, blah blah. The two girls want to get along with one another. With you and the other Lilies by her side. Lily's journey on becoming one of them, the Lilies, the soldiers, has just bloomed. So this is the TLDR is it's a story about how girls, uh, develop their friendship while in battle with monsters, right?
big monsters, big robot monsters. Yep.
Yeah, with yes.
So the
Would you
only
like to tell us
difference
what?
between that and this is in
Yeah,
Assault Lily, they're in an academy, and in this series, they're in a
they're not in the
completely
academy.
empty city devoid of a human life entirely.
Yeah,
So other than that,
very very different.
I mean,
yeah.
they would
Uh,
those people would just get in the way of what I'm sure are extremely
And
awesome
this also
shots.
has some very not totally not copycat plagiarism inspirations from Madoka. Yippee! Yay! Yay!
we would
Yippee!
also like to mention
We
Assault
We
all love
thought
Lily,
those.
we
done by
thought we
Shat.
escaped,
Yeah.
but we did not.
uh,
Yeah.
I, I what so initially when I looked at Momentary Lily and I like looked at the staff just to make sure that nobody was connected to Assault Lily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
And I don't think they are. I don't think anyone of them is actually connected to Assault Lily. But for some reason, there's all these Assault Lily and Monica associations
Yeah.
that
I don't know.
nobody knows about. Yeah,
Truly a mystery.
yeah,
So I'm gonna spoil the first two episodes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because this series sucks.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put it out there. The series is not good.
Surprise.
So the first episode starts with the sort of main cast, the main sort of five girls. They fight a monster. Um, they all do their really, really, really obnoxious sort of one-dimensional character gimmick shtick over and over and over again. Um, the main girl Yuri says "bam" a lot, just a lot, like It's literally
Fucking Flintstones, like
her entire personality trait is going dawn, dawn, dawn. Like that's it. That's all she does.
What? Okay.
Um, the older sister Onesen girl, that's her personality. She's an older sister Onesan, right? She's got big boobs and they jiggle a lot, a lot, a lot.
Is is this
Like a
Nikkei?
lot, a
What's
lot.
happening?
Like too much, a lot. Like when she's not even moving, a lot.
So this is
Um,
Nikkei, right? Is what you're telling me?
no,
yeah,
no,
and
what?
then you
Oh fuck,
have
what game was that? What game was that where you could like fast forward time and oh, was that MGS 4 or Vengeance when you could like fast forward the
yeah. You mean
the
with the
comms
DB
calls
corps? Yeah.
and and no, I forget who it was. It was fucking what's her name in the sweater and her breastises go
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
insane.
Yeah, and you could shake the controller too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you have Ayame, who's like the sort of glasses sort of class president, whatever. Um she's like a chuny. Um you have Hinageshi, who's a gamer. She's a gamer. She's a gamer, by the way. She drinks
Nice.
energy drinks and she's a gamer. And she's a
That's
Nice.
hacker.
so
And
fucking me, dude.
also she's a gamer.
Does
And
she does she have like a long like does she wear like a long hoodie or like a sports jacket where it's like her hands don't show at the end because it's too long
she's
for her?
got
Is
like
that
a like this like orange like trench coat thing that she
oh
wears.
shit.
But yeah. Yeah, she's a gamer. Um if you couldn't tell. She
God,
games. She's
gamer.
constantly gaming, and she's talking about leveling up and getting buffs and debuffs and gaming. And she's a
Who
gamer.
who thumbs up this project for
I don't
GoHands?
know. I don't
Where
know.
is where are they getting this money from?
And then you have Suzanka, who's sort of the I don't really know what you'd call her. She's kind of just boring. She kind of just goes on about like I
Hufflepuff.
guess I guess she's like a girly girl. She's like she her initial introduction is talking about like skincare and stuff. But other than that, she's kind of just like a Genki girl.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, you have Renge, who's sort of the mysterious amnesiac shy girl that gets introduced, and she's like super strong somehow. Um, but yeah, that's your cast. Like they are literally one character trait that is bashed into your fucking skull at every possible opportunity, and that is it. That is their only
This
on-screen
getting
presence.
made into is there is this getting made into like a multimedia project? What's happening? Like
I
there's no
doubt
way.
it. I doubt it.
Where they get this money from? What's happening? All right,
K
go ahead.
Project, probably.
K Project, they're sucking out all the Game Boy money for this.
Yeah,
They're like, let's.
probably.
Oh my god!
But
All right.
yeah. So we get introduced to them, right?
Yeah.
They fight a monster in episode one. Um, and that's kind of all that. That's kind of like literally all that happens in episode one. They meet
Does
Renge.
kind of look like a
They cook some food.
Monster of the Week or Monster of the Monster of the Week kind of series or what? Does it feel like it's shaping up to be?
No, no.
Okay, okay, okay.
So episode two rolls along, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're like, man, the city sure is abandoned. There sure is no people around. Um, but we're like running out of food because the only thing we eat is instant noodles. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so they're like, we need to move to the center of the city because there's more food there. But there's also more monsters there, right? Um, so we're gonna have to fight some monsters.
So are
And
they kind of trying to set it? Is that kind of tone like the stuff that you just described? Is that more like a slightly more serious tone, like how Gakugurashi School Life was, right? Is it that sort of tone in terms of like
I'll
survival
get
or
to the
like?
tone. I'll get to the fucking tone in a fucking second. All right.
Okay, all right.
So so yeah, so episode one, speaking of tone, episode one is like super, it's like, it's so hard to explain because it's like, this show is legitimately like, it's so
Not good.
schizophrenic.
Oh,
It's
okay.
so like audio visual fucking overload at all times.
That's standard
There,
Gohan.
I mean, it's standard for GoHands, but it's like
Yeah. It's still not good, yeah. I'm not saying it was
this
good.
series takes it to a whole nother level. So there are points in this series where there are like 5 characters talking at the same time. And
Dude, I gotta
all of
check this
their
out. Holy
like
shit.
all of their dialogue is like disjointed. It's like completely disconnected. It's like not it's like you
It's,
know when
it's just like
you
standing
well,
in a
you know
room
when you
with
have the
Oblivion
ability, yeah,
NPCs.
you know when you have the ability in an RPG to like run around the room and talk to like several NPCs at the same time, like you're just mashing the A button. This series is that. Like that is this series, just straight up.
It's
Like
so are you describing, like, was what GoHands want to do at that moment is just they wanted to have, like, the full, like, girls in a club kind of atmosphere, so they had a scene where all the girls were just, like, around a table talking, but,
yeah,
like,
I think
the end result was that, and, like,
the
this
idea is to have like, oh, the girls are like bantering, you know, they're sort
Yeah,
of
yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, having a cheery conversation where they're kind of just all talking at once, but they're not really like talking to each other. They're kind of just like saying things, you know what I mean? They're kind of just like I said with like the gamer girl, where she's just like, I'm gaming. I'm gaming right now. I'm playing games, right? Um and that's like it. They're kind of just like talking at each other. No, they're not really talking to each other. So, um it's just like really uh yeah, it's just like a complete like overwhelming like stimulus, especially with the fact that you know you have GoHands visuals on top of it all, where like the shots in between everything is like completely inconsistent. You'll have shadows forecasting in one shot. It'll be like overcast, cloudy in another. The next will be like complete like clear sky midday. The in some shots the moon will be like shooting across the sky in random parts. Um, yeah, it is just a complete like clusterfuck. Um, and then obviously in the action scenes themselves, you have well, I'll get to that in the audio visuals. But yeah, on to
Okay.
episode two, right? So they're like, we need to get into the center of the city, but we also need to fight some monsters to do that, right? Um, and then as they get into the city, they're like, oh shit, there's a lot of monsters here. And it's like, yeah, you guys were talking about that like two seconds ago. Um,
Mhm.
so the Onesan has the bright idea to be like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave now. I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go distract one monster, all on my own. And
Okay.
everyone is like, "What? Like, why? Like, that's a terrible idea." Um, but she's like, "No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go do that." And they're like, "Okay, sure." So she does that, and then the other 5 fight this monster. And for some reason they're struggling, even though one episode prior, they were like literally one-shotting these things. Um,
Okay.
they don't really make much attempt to sort of like distinct any sort of differentiation between the monsters, but like apparently this one's tougher, this one's harder. Um, they all kind of look the same to me. They all kind of just look like blue CG monstrosities. But
Goo, yeah.
yeah, they struggle to fight this one. And then it cuts to the Onesen girl, and she's getting fucking mogged, right? Because she's on her own,
Okay.
and her only like power is to be able to block and defend. Like she has like no
Oh, she's
offensive.
like a shield character?
Yeah, she has like no offensive capabilities at all. So she's getting fucking owned.
Okay.
Um, and then a second monster shows up, and she starts getting owned even harder. And then it immediately shifts to extreme like anguish porn, like blood sea levels of
What?
like I'm gonna die. Like she starts like
Like,
begging
did they
for her life.
show
She
blood
starts
or what?
crying. She has like snot coming out of her fucking nose.
Like, did she
She
barf?
starts like yeah, she starts like fucking
Oh my god.
like
What
retching and
yeah.
shit, and she's like cursing her friends. And so I'm like, okay,
That's
like
so awesome. What
where
the
the
fuck?
fuck did this come from? Um,
Okay.
yeah, so
Also,
it's like
she
Wait, is there blood?
volunteered.
Is there blood or
yeah,
what was happening?
uh, there was not really like blood in this scene, but like so she like gives up, right? She's basically like,
Uh-huh.
like it's over, I'm dead, right? And then at the
Yeah,
very
yeah.
last second, her friends come in and save her, right? Um, and it's like, yeah, yeah, yippee, yippee, and then
Like, yeah,
literally
you knew that part.
as they beat the monster, right? Um, Yuri, the like Don girl, who's like literally the main character, by the way. She's like the main character on all the promotional art. She's literally front and center. She gets fucking blasted and dies. Like just straight up. Like she's just
Well, that's
dead.
why
What?
she's
Okay.
momentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so
She's
she's
only here
dead.
for a moment.
Yeah, episode 2 Edge just ends with her dead. Um, and
Do they have reactions of like the girls or what's happening?
Damn,
yeah, I
this really
mean
is
they
Madoka.
yeah, you're right, exactly. Um, so yeah, so all the girls all cry and stuff, but yeah, like she's
Yeah, yeah,
dead.
yeah. Okay.
Um, and then so I was like, huh? Like she's the main character, right? Like she's the main character.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I was like, are they just gonna like do some weird like this is a dream or some sort of like time loop thing or whatever? Um, but as I was looking into this, apparently GoHands just today released new promotional material, like new key visuals, that are basically all the same, except that Yuri's just not in them. She's just gone. So I'm like, okay, so
So they're
they're just
okay.
actually killing off like the main like front facing character of the series. That's
They're trying to go for that like viral marketing vibe by just being
I
like,
But
guess
here's
yeah,
no
I
one
promotional
mean
gives
art,
a
but
shit.
like
No,
not
no one's
the main
gonna fucking
character.
watch a
Yeah.
GoHands series,
It's
bro.
like horror. It's like where like one character in the photo disappears and you're like,
yeah,
wait,
I
what the
mean they're
fuck?
definitely trying to pull like a Madoka, right? Where it's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
dude,
yeah,
the
yeah.
series is fucking dark, dude.
What was it?
They
Yeah.
killed the
What
character
was
in
it?
the
No
second
game,
episode.
no game, no life. No game, no life. When they had that arc where they fucking the brother and sister like get deleted or whatever, and then they removed them from the ED and OP.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
oh,
like the
but like,
main two characters like essentially lose the game and then they get like the ED like starts distorting or whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
and it
yeah.
eventually erases them from it. It's like, sure,
Yeah.
like that works for that, but I wouldn't. I don't know if I would do that if you
Yeah,
were
but then like
go ahead.
even then they make a comeback. Like that's the difference. But okay,
Yeah.
wait. So near what I mean like
What
the
if this
whole
is
like
now about
plot twist
Yuri
or
going through
whatever.
purgatory?
Yeah. The whole like plot twist like character dying thing aside. Like what seems to be the main sort of structure of this series right now? Like
That's a good question.
very good question.
One
Cuz
that
it's
I'm not
like
sure I have the answer for, my friend.
yeah, cuz I feel like it needs to be my guess is that it's trying to juggle a lot of balls and it by the grace of God, GoHands will barely, and when I say barely, I mean not really, barely succeed in juggling all those balls coherently in a single story. And when I say like the different like balls, in this case, I think it's like you have to have the slower slice of aspect with like the girls just like kind of shooting the shit, right? And then you have to have the whole like, oh, we're like an abandoned city or whatever it is, like cityscape, and we have to like move around and like they have to include some screen time for that. And then they have to include the battle scenes for the monsters, and then they have to include, narrating and doing exposition and moving the plot line for what happens when people die in real life, when the girls die or whatever, right? And then they have to connect that to because that's probably going to be linked to the central plot of the series, right? It's like, what are we really doing here? Like, why are all these monsters here? Like, why are we fighting? What are we fighting for? Blah blah, right? So they have to juggle like at least 4 or 5 different balls. And this is going to be like a 12 episode series, I want to say, right? This is 12 episode or is it
Mine says
24?
13, but
13. Wow,
yeah.
that's great. So it's a 13 episode series, and they're going to have to balance all of that. Uh, and they're trying to probably going to make it seem very edgy like a Monica. But at the same time, it's just the premise is not,
Do you
I wanna
think
say, unique enough to afford that,
do
so
you think they're gonna delete more and more characters and remove more and more characters from the key art?
Yeah, yes, I
Yes,
do. I do.
it'll just be silent
I
later.
do.
That'd be
I
so
genuinely
cool,
think
dude.
so. So I was intrigued, right? Because like
Uh-huh.
this sort of like tonal whiplash kind of shift. Like I was sort of intrigued in the fan reaction, right? Like the viewer
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
reaction.
You
So
realize you're the only one.
yeah, I'm the only one.
If Momentary Lily has one fan, it's you. If
Yeah.
Momentary Lily has 0 fans, you are dead.
Yeah, but yeah. So I went to the most trusted source, the mall forums, right? Because that's where the real connoisseurs
Yeah,
uh
exactly.
have real discussions, right? And so um people seem to like this show.
What
Which
about it? What
blew my
about it do they
mind.
like?
They seem to like everything about this show. They seem to like the action.
What
They
does that
seem to
mean?
like the visuals. They seem to like the characters. And they seem to like how this weird tonal shift really, really tugs on your feels, which to me was like, are these people like 8 years old?
Yes.
Um,
I
The
mean,
answer is
like,
yes,
I'm
and
not
also
too
this is actually not new for Mall either, I believe, because I
yeah,
believe
I'm not too surprised about
in
that
in
sort
the
of like,
comments, like
"Oh,
people
girl
people thought
died?" It's like
handshakers was like cool. They were like, "Wow."
yeah, there are very
that's just the
few
GoHands.
people. There are very
Yeah.
few people in the mall discussions that are like this is shit. Like, hello, like what are you guys talking about? Um,
Yeah.
and I'm one of them because like this shit is fucking dog shit. But yeah, there's a bit of sort of, I guess, I don't know, theory crafting because it's like with this sort of tone, it's obvious, and the sort of marketing strategy of like removing the girl from the key art, right?
Mhm.
It's pretty obvious that they're gonna keep picking them off, one
Yeah.
by one,
Yeah, the whole,
right?
like, Momentary Lily kind of, yeah,
Yeah, and
sure.
then so there's quite a few people that are like, okay, so this is just gonna pull a Madoka and it's gonna do a time loop, right? Um, which to
Time
me,
loop?
with yeah, like a reset thing.
No, I know
Um,
it yeah, but
yeah, with like Renge, the sort of like amnesiac girl being the one that's looping. Um, and I
Oh,
probably
yeah, that makes
I
a lot
kind
of
of
sense.
agree. Like if they're pulling this much from Madoka already, I wouldn't doubt that they pull a time loop. Um, but yeah, I don't know. The general like sort of structure right now, from what I'm guessing, is going to be, it's going to do some general slice of life stuff, a bit of sort of because it has like these cooking segments in both episode 1 and 2.
are
Um,
they good? Cooking segments?
I mean, it's basically like it's basically like both of them so far are basically just like hot pot, like boil a bunch of shit, put it into a bowl.
Oh, okay.
Because they're cooking with like fucking instant ramen and like sauce packets and shit.
Yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah,
um,
okay.
it's kind of cute, I guess, but it's not like it's good eating really. But you know, but yeah, they're probably just gonna do a little bit of life stuff. They're gonna fight a monster every episode. One of them's probably gonna get picked off every 2 episodes, and then
Yeah.
they'll do a reset. They'll do some sort of MacGuffin, and then all the girls will be happy and be yeah. Um, if I had to guess, I mean that's probably just how it's gonna go. I mean this is pure
Mm.
speculation of 2 episodes, right? But like I don't really. This series does not seem original in the slightest.
Or it could be that sort of change in turn,
Yeah, but I
or
mean,
not change in term, where it's like they have the the cityscape and like the threat of the monsters like forever gone. Like there, you do like a time skip at the very end, like an epilogue wise, and all the monsters, everything like the land is at peace, but it's like
well,
there's
there's nothing
nobody
in the
in
land.
the yeah, there's nothing in the land, and like you can see like the sparkling spirits of the girls in the distance, or something like that. Right? Like that could be
Wow,
another enter. Yeah,
I
but
mean,
yeah,
my
some
guess.
poetry.
I mean, I think it's a pretty good fucking anticipation that the memory loss girl is the looper. for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
And then also, this is purgatory. That's what I'm guessing. I'm putting my money on purgatory.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't think they're cool enough to make it the Matrix. If they made it the Matrix, I think it would be fucking, you know,
Yeah, I mean, there are some people that
Neo.
are saying
But
that like maybe this is like a game kind of thing, but I don't think so. Um, it doesn't really seem like, and there's because only the one girl is the amnesiac, and all the other girls seem to have memories of like before the alien space things came and wiped out
mm,
humanity. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's probably gonna be a time loop thing. Um, but yeah, that's the story. I mean, it's shit. It's not good. The characters are like, again, they're literal caricatures. They're one-dimensional caricatures that are so obnoxiously like loud and in your face that it's like, all right, man, I get it. I get it. You're a gamer. You say bang. You're a chuny. I get it. I get it, man. You don't need to keep repeating it. But yeah, not fun to watch, I will say. As for the audio visuals, I mean, it's GoHands. It's fucking schizophrenic as fuck. There's a lot of really, really bad perspective shots. There's a lot of really overly animated flowing hair. No reason. Um, the OP is kind of Kino. I'm not gonna lie. Um,
Oh really?
it's what is this? Oishi Survivor by Hanabi. It's like this weird. Um, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like this, like death metal pop rap mix.
What
It
the
kind of goes insane. I'm just gonna link it. You can give that a listen if you want.
Is this like Gohan's
Um,
idea of trying to be just an experiment? Because I'm gonna say it right now, like I'm gonna be sort of a devil's advocate. If this is their idea of just throwing caution to the winds and just trying random stuff that they've seen on TV, social media, just seeing what sticks, then I'm like okay with it. I wouldn't say it's necessarily again like a good storyline or like an overall proper anime, but I'd be okay with them like it's just being like, yeah, we're just experimenting. Like,
yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like them kind of just throwing shit at the wall. Um, which like, I'm not like, I mean,
what is happening?
GoHands is a studio that has somehow through money laundering or some sort of oil baron
What?
like
You're not wrong. Yeah.
fucking benefactor or something. They just have the ability to pump out like unimaginable dog shit over and over again and yet still remain afloat.
It's the
Um,
K Project Buddy, bro. It's like, what is it? It's like how HBO has the Dragon Money from Game of Thrones, and they could just pull out random
yeah,
stuff.
but like
How John
I
Oliver
don't
always like jokes about the Dragon Money. This is them, but with the Game Boy money.
I don't think K Project makes that much money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like the Go Hands. Um, fuck me, dude. I paused. It's such a crazy time. Um, the Go Hands like animes, like they're not like cheap. You know what I mean? Like they look fucked
Yeah,
up,
yeah, yeah.
but like
Stuff going on.
there's
Yeah,
a lot of animation going on in these. Whether you think it
yeah,
looks good or not, personally, I don't think it does. But
yeah,
like just the hair alone, like there's a lot going on, right? So there are animators working on this, right? There are people working on this.
yeah, yeah.
Regardless of the fact
It
that
actually takes time. Is what we have to admit. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most of GoHands is like backgrounds and shit are like it's like stock store bought assets. um, I don't think they make those themselves, but you know,
Mhm.
regardless, like these projects aren't cheap. And I don't think K Project makes that much money. So there's got to be money coming in from somewhere that's greenlighting these like insanely like shaky experimental fucking premises and projects that it's just like it's baffling to me. Um, but yeah, the OP is kind of crazy. The ED is like nothing really. It's like whatever. Um, the overall soundtrack is like this pretty generic sort of electronic and boops kind of shit. It's pretty forgettable.
Mhm.
Yeah, overall, I mean, it's pretty standard. Go hands fair for audiovisuals. Um, I think this one's a little bit more shaky and schizophrenic. Like I said, a lot of the shots are uh they're not like consistent with one another. I feel like I don't know if it's whoever's working on um just like animation directing or coordination or whatever. But like I said, there would be shots that are really, like some have overcast shadows, and then immediately the next shot afterwards it'll be like really bright and sunny, and then the next shot afterwards it'll be like
Okay, but that
um
has a purpose, dude, because again, purgatory. They're hinting,
yeah,
they're letting you know.
true. I mean
Time is a
K Project
construct.
K Project was similar in its lighting inconsistencies. So um but yeah, this one I feel like is a bit more egregious. Um and this one also has like uh girls in it instead of dudes, so there's a lot more hair, right? Um, and you really notice how, I guess, over animated a lot of these characters are, especially with Erica, the Onesan. Like I said, she is like literally constantly jiggling, like nonstop. Um, it's actually like comical. I don't know if it's like supposed to be like a bit that they're doing, because the other girls don't do that. Like they just don't move like that. But she does. So I don't know if it's a bit or not. It might be a bit. If it is a bit, then it's like genius. But I something tells me it's not a bit. So, but yeah, there's a lot
It's
of there's like just a lot of weird. It's weird, right? Like it's very overwhelming to look at. Like you really feel like when you're looking at this series and listening to this series, like you feel like you're having a stroke. Like it's really hard to follow. Um, it's like the character voices overlapping and like the shots being inconsistent and just like so much shit is happening. And like the stuff they're talking about like barely makes sense. Like when they're talking about the aliens and stuff, it's just like they talk about it they like the way they exposition dump is like, "Oh yeah, you know this thing already, right?" And it's like, "No, I'm a viewer. I don't know this already. Like, what do you mean?" Um,
Mhm.
so it's just it's a very hard to watch series. Um,
a the issue also is it's one thing if just like how Fu was like we just talked about with Toast series, right? It has Kino Master with Asahi Productions, where Asahi Productions had Mahoako, which was like objectively pretty freaking solid, right?
yeah.
And then it had kind of like a downturn with Kinomi Master, and you could also blame a lot of that on the original material, right, rather than the studio itself. At the end of the day, right, because it's like story more than anything else, right? Um, but even if we blame the studio for it, it could have its like kind of ups and downs. But with GoHands, it's like a lot of these inconsistencies in terms of how the anime structure quality is and how it's using its storyboard and script to tell the viewers what's going on in the story instead of just being like, "Oh, look, it's a Damocles sword," or like in K Project or whatever these like or the how the characters are like dealing with the robotic creatures or whatever in Momentary Lily. It's like it's been a constant fixture of GoHands, and not in a good way, is what I want to say. It's just not. I don't think I've seen a series since Tsuki ga Kirei where GoHands properly had to non-schizophrenic audio visuals and a non-schizophrenic story. You know what I mean? Tsuki ga Kirei was like the last of it. And that's kind of disappointing in a sense. So,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I honestly genuinely forgot that that was them.
Yeah, I was surprised too, but I think they used a lot of those tried to use a lot of those building techniques that they had in Skiyakide back into again their later series, which was okay. But then they they didn't take the whole actual storyboarding and scripting and pacing lessons that they might have learned from Skiyakide into other series is I think how I want to say it. Although I forget if Skiyakide was actually Itagaki or not. I forget. But anyways, Near, any last words on this initial impression of Momentary Lily? Would you recommend it to people?
I would not. No.
But bro, it's like you described it like vodka. It means it has to be good. What the fuck?
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I'm not a fan of Madoka. I'll say that much. I was not a Madoka enjoyer at the time. I'm still not.
Mhm.
So take that for what you will. But yeah, pretty much whenever I see any series sort of lifting from Madoka, uh, I think it sucks, right? Like I think it's just like shit. And this series, like this series is hard to watch. Like it is very like even if GoHands was like top of their form, like Marduk scramble type shit going on here audio visually. Um like these characters are really annoying. They're really annoying. Like they're genuinely obnoxious. Like there's literally a point, I forget if it's episode I think it's in episode 2. Um but like Yuri, the sort of the girl that just goes dawn, dawn, dawn over and over again. She does it for like 30 seconds straight, and it's just like shut up, just like shut up, like stop talking, just stop talking
Well, you don't need
for
to worry about that anymore.
5 seconds. It's just so obnoxious. Like the characters are literally constantly talking, and there's a point in episode 1, I think, when the characters are sort of first showing off their like weapons and their sort of like moves and stuff, right? Where I think it's the Chuni like class rep girl. She's doing this whole like spiel, like her whole like, you know, the flames of Fafnir consume you type shit, right? Um, but like in the middle of her like voice, her audio, like she is like as she's speaking, they're overlapping like grunts and like exasperated like like hup hup and stuff like that, and I'm like, is this character like speaking right now, or is this like some sort of weird like expositional overlaid dialogue that's not actually happening right now in the scene? And I genuinely can't tell, because as they're doing that, they're also talking to each other. So it's just
Fuck.
like what is going on? It's so schizophrenic. It's generally it's very hard to describe without actually like
And
experiencing
also
it
to keep up,
yourself.
right? I gotta say. It's
Yeah,
hard to keep
it's
up.
just like there's so much shit happening on the screen, and then it's like you have to keep up with like several characters speaking at the same fucking time, and none of them are really saying anything like that is sort of congruent with one another's dialogue. It's all kind of just like noise. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's a very obnoxious series. Um
Right.
and like none of the characters are likable. I'll say maybe I'd say probably the class rep is the least obnoxious, but she also has like the least amount of lines. So there's that.
Yeah.
Renge's not too bad either, but she's kind of just like a generic, like shy, um, sort of bubbly girl. But yeah, the others are just like I don't like them. I don't like these characters.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't like this show. I actively dislike the show. I mean, I to be honest, I went into the show. Um, I mean, I wasn't expecting much, right? But I was at least expecting to like have fun, right? Because GoHands action series are
Yeah, yeah.
usually like they're really corny, they're over the top, right? Got a lot of stupid shit happening. Um, this one was just not fun to watch, I will say.
Yeah.
The obnoxious characters on top of the really jarring sort of tonal shift with the deaths. Um, I think it's just a bad combination. I don't
Yeah.
know what kind of person is going into this being like, yes, I love it. Not only does this look good and sound good, but it's also got a good story. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't get into I can't get into the mind of a momentary Lily enjoyer, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. All right. I guess very unfortunate. Big Rig's like, yeah, I'm picking it up. He's got to be trying to gatekeep.
I'm not.
But
I'm
Yeah, you're
not.
trying to keep this one for yourself,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm trying to
yeah,
gatekeep people from like fucking wanting to put
blowing
fucking
the
a
brick.
pencil in their ear, man. Like
Yeah.
legit, these characters are annoying. Um,
But we'll see how this goes. I mean, I feel like GoHands needs to. There's probably a way that GoHands can make it back from this story wise, but they have to tread a very. They have to walk a very, 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 very fine, tight rope. So we'll see how
yeah,
it goes. But
yeah.
anyways,
As
yeah,
for the rating, I mean, this is right now on Mall. This is sitting at what is it, 5.9,
7.5 or something, 5.9.
5.9, which
That's
is
actually lower than the
it's
Hazard scale. That's funny.
yeah, it's
I
pretty.
like how
I think
people
it's
I like how people in the reviews are or you said you went to the mall and you're like everybody's like, "Whoa, bro." It's like,
yeah. I mean,
I
keep in
love
mind the
it. But I
people that
think
are
all the
like
regular people that
yeah,
just
the people that are
press the rating.
the
Yeah,
people that
yeah.
are rating the series are different from the people that are discussing the
Yeah,
series for
exactly,
sure.
exactly, exactly,
Um,
exactly.
but I think 5.9 is around. It's probably like the general like middle point average for a GoHands series. Because like K Project stuff is like 7.5 ish, and then
Probably.
some of the like handshakers and like the what was it like the W's Wiz? I don't even remember how to pronounce that.
Wiz, yeah, 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 yeah.
I think that's sitting around like 5. So 5.9 is probably like middle of the road. I probably gonna give this a two, a two. I think I'll give this a two. I I don't like this show.
Well, you don't like Go Heads? You must be an anime
Yeah.
hater. You don't
Listen,
like all
man.
the Sakugs that happened when the girl's barfing all over the screen?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
god.
like GoHands, okay? I liked Marduk Scramble a lot. Marduk Scramble is legitimately like
You like the past, right? Past tense?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yes,
And K
yes, yes.
Project is fun. Like K Project is fun. It's goofy.
Keep Project is fun. I
Um
do. I kind of agree. I keep joshing it all the time for being like a really stupid, wacky like Game Boy series, but I do agree that K Project, like if you don't watch like the later movies and like stuff, I think it's fine. I think the initial season of K Project, if you just watch that and you focus on that, and you focus on like the Red King versus the Blue King kind of stuff, it's fine. It's like it's nice, but but yeah, I think
this shit is not
some of
it,
these
man.
later series, yeah, some of these later series are not it for sure. Yeah. Anyways, thank you very much for covering Momentary Lily. I knew that the moment this series came up and it had a premise, a theme, a setup that was very similar to Assault Lily, a series that you also covered way back
Sure
in the
did.
days,
Sure did.
just as Shaft was kind of we knew that during the days where we knew that Shaft was like fully kind of going into decline, right?
Yeah.
Um, uh, after you had covered Assault Lily and we saw this, I knew you had to be the one to cover it because you know
Nobody fucking else
who better?
was.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I'm glad you did. This was definitely going to be one of the series on the watch list for a lot of people, but it's unfortunate that it did not pan out in the ways that we potentially wanted it to. So, very unfortunate.